everybody, it is Steve, your friendly neighborhood lawn gnome. Welcome back to another episode of Stats, Trends, and Picks over here on That's Comical, and if you are watching and it happens to be a Wednesday, happy new comic book day. I'm not going to beat around the bush, everybody. The news is the news. We'll leave it at that. We've talked about it long enough. What we need to talk about is how did things go in regards to me and my reading for May of 2026. Well, it was definitely a larger reading month than average, and that is simply because of the fact that, as we all remember, the first Saturday of May 2026, of course, was Free Comic Book Day, and because of that, I actually, being the customer that I am in my local store, had many opportunities not just to get a simple amount that subscribers or customers are supposed to get, but my comic store will always let the people who are good clients of theirs come on in. We've got leftovers from Free Comic Book Day. Take your pick. Get whatever you like. So I ended up walking away with the month of May with a total of 54 books, 45 actually purchased, and 10 free comic books. And that was a lot of fun. I will definitely say that my favorite of the free comic books, of course, came from Image Comics and Skybound, the Energon Universe 2026 special. I cannot wait to see what the month of June is going to hold, as well as the rest of 2026 for Robert Kirkman's Energon Universe, because it has been wonderful. So let's take a look at the total picks. It was pretty good. We had the other conglomerates skyrocketing to the top, Image close behind, and Marvel and DC. Once again, I said it, guys, it's just happening the way it's happening. And as someone who's actually currently reading what's going on in the end of the Ultimate Universe, yawn, snooze. I am not enjoying it. I don't even know what Ultimate Endgame is all about right now. I am so confused. But anyway, at least the Infernal Hulk is still great. Big plans for that from what I'm hearing. Philip Kennedy Johnson, do your thing. So yeah, let's take a look at the percentages. Over 35% of my purchasing power went to the other conglomerate. 33% went to Image. 16, almost 17% to DC. And almost 15% to Marvel. Take a look at that chart, guys. It's going exactly the way I thought it would be, and I'm really curious to see how the rest of the year is going to go. So let's take a look at how my predictions went in May of 2026. Well, I went 50-50, and I'm not upset about that. And I have learned my lesson now. I thought that I learned it with Dick Tracy, but now I've learned it with another book. Never bet on the book you know is going to be the best one. You know, I will go into the first week of May. We know that I will never second guess David Pepos and Speed Racer over at Mad Cave Studios. I mean, this book, the story arc for the second arc is just turning out to be even better than the first one. It's just touching on so many different levels, but issue number 8 was so much fun. It was so different. It was mobsters, cruncher block. That's just fun. One of the best parts of the story arc so far, and it was nice how it really cut the drama, because the drama in the second arc has been pretty heavy. And when we take a look at the second week of May, I thought I was going to go to Geiger issue number 23 over at Image Comics, the Ghost Machine Universe, you know, Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. I mean, this is one of the strongest books right now in Image. It's one of the strongest books in all of comics. And it was the end of a very crucial story arc. It's leaving me with a lot of questions, and I'm really excited, but I'm sorry. Lawn Gnome has learned his lesson. When any book is going up against Dork over at Image Comics by Brett Bean, do not bet against Dork. Dork issue number 4 was fantastic. I laughed, I belly laughed, I cried tears of joy. This is one of the strongest comic books right now, and I think what makes it so special is the fact that it's just nothing like any comic. There's no superheroes, it's not overly dramatic, it's not capitalizing on horror, it's just flat-out cartoonish comedy. That's all Dork is, and I'm here for every single page of it. So yeah, as great as what's coming out on the same week as Dork issue number 5, I am not going to be betting against the house this time. And yes, I was right. For the third week of May of 2026, don't bet against Dick Tracy, Mad Cave. That's 2 shots that Mad Cave Studios took the top spot this month for me. Dick Tracy number 17 by Alex Segura and Mark Marecki. This is an amazing story arc. I am absolutely loving it. Every single arc is better than the last. And I just appreciate all the different directions. No two arcs are quite the same, completely different vibes, and we're back to flat-out gang war again. The last one touched upon Tracy's past in wartime. This is a completely different story. This is mobsters against mobsters. This is everything you come for Dick Tracy for, and I cannot wait to see where the rest of this story arc goes. And for the last week of May of 2026, I thought it was going to go over to Image Comics. So think about that. 2 Image Comics and 2 Mad Cave Studios. Pretty cool. And James Tynion IV and Michael Walsh's conclusion to apparently the first season, as they call it, of Exquisite Corpses. This was issue number 13. And I really appreciated the kind of story that these guys wanted to tell. I think the artwork from Michael Walsh really fit James Tynion's story. It's very different from what James Tynion writes. This is not Department of Truth. This is not Something is Killing the Children. This is something completely different, but I will definitely say maybe it's simply because of the fact that I'm not a fan of reality shows, but I am not going to be coming back for season number 2. It's been greenlit, and I just, even though it did leave us on some kind of a cliffhanger, the main crux of the story really concluded for me, and I really did not have any need to check it out. So I'm glad that I took a shot. I'm glad that I checked out the first season. This ended up being in my top 5 books of 2026. But when I finally got to the end of the road, I just felt that the end of the road was fine for me and no season 2. So glad it's here. You guys looking forward to season 2? Have at it. But at the end of the day, we did have an Image book taking the top spot for the final week of May. And, you know, I don't talk about this one a lot, and I'm pretty upset about that. And I really don't talk about this creator a lot, which is also a darn shame, because he makes some of the best comics out there. I mean, I did talk about The Sacrificers, and of course I'm talking about Rick Remender, but one of my favorite books in my top 5 books of 2026 right now is Rick Remender's Escape. And I have been enjoying every issue since issue 1, but I don't really get very vocal about it. However, issue number 7 was completely different from all the other issues thus far. Very intense, one word each panel to describe an emotion, or one phrase, and so much is happening, and that one phrase just does it all. This was one of the most intensely crazy good issues that Rick Remender has done so far with this book. I actually just found out that it's only going to be a 12-issue miniseries, so we're already in the second arc. But, guys, this was a shock. I was surprised by how beautifully done this book was, even though I love this book to death. So that was May of 2026. I mean, there are some great honorable mentions. I mean, we had Jason Aaron's Thundar the Barbarian over at Dynamite. That story is just so incredibly good. Major props once again to Jeff Lemire for DC Comics' The Fury of Firestorm. Issue number 2 did not disappoint. This is a real big story, guys. But I'm really excited to see what's happening in June of 2026. We're going to start off with the newest addition to the DC Next Level line, and that is the Dead Man, issue number 1, by Team Ice Cream Man. Yes, they are coming back to DC. W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo, and Chris O'Halloran. I am so excited to see them take on a character that is definitely something that they can work with. I mean, let me tell you this. They did a very good job with Superman. The Kryptonite Spectrum was one of my favorite reads of the year. I think it was my number 3. But I am excited to finally see them take on the horror elements of DC Comics with a true character that falls within the DC Dark Universe. Now, for the second week of June, this I actually want to say, yes, I am anticipating it to be over at Image Comics, Brett Bean's Dork issue number 5, which is actually going to be the conclusion of the first story arc. But I also want to let people know that there are some really good books coming out that week as well. There is The Fury of Firestorm number 3 over at DC Comics by Jeff Lemire, of course. David Pepos, you know, listen, it's going to be between Speed Racer and Dork, I'm guessing, because of course Speed Racer issue number 9 is coming out at Mad Cave Studios. But then there's a newcomer in the race, and I use that word with a reason, because there's a new book coming out over at Image Comics that Jay Lee is part of. He's going to be doing the artwork. I really do like Jay Lee's work, and it's going to be a book by Lily and Robert Wyndham, and it is called M1 Monster Racing League. They say that this is supposed to be the Fast and the Furious meets Akira meets K-pop Demon Hunters. Sold! No second guess. I want to check this book out, and I want to see what it's all about. Could it possibly do the unthinkable and be the underdog in the Dork versus Speed Racer race? We will see. But in the meantime, I am still saying that Dork issue number 5 is going to be my top pick of the week. For the third week of June of 2026, I am going to go and give it to the latest addition to the Ghost Machine universe over at Image Comics. Jeff Johns and Peter Tomasi are teaming up right now with a big crossover, the very first Ghost Machine crossover called Who Are the Unbelievables? We've already gotten the 2 preview issues from Hornsby and Halo and the Rockefellers, and they were good issues, but we're finally getting introduced to the rest of the Unbelievables, starting with the $1 Trillion Kid. This is a 2-issue series, a duology, if you will, and I am really curious to see where this character is going to fit in with this brand new part of the Ghost Machine universe. Originally it was called Family Odysseys, but it's expanding into the Unbelievables, so this is the first part of a 4-issue crossover. It's going to be 2 issues of $1 Trillion Kid, and the latest monthly issues of the Rockefellers and Hornsby and Halo. Really, really excited. And for the final week of June 2026, I am going to be giving it over to Feral, issue number 24 at Image Comics. Fleeks and Forstner, Tone Rodriguez, of course, on the inks, and this new arc has been so interesting and so creative because it's actually 2 separate stories. Because just in case you haven't started reading since issue 21, which was a silent issue, an excellent issue, the stray dogs have shown up in the feral world, and now each issue is showing the current story arc from 2 different perspectives. There's the cat side and the dog side, and based on what I'm seeing in issue 25, the landmark issue 25, the 2 worlds are going to finally collide and become one united story, and then I'm dying to see what's going to happen after issue number 25, which is going to conclude the current story arc. I mean, when I met Fleeks and Forstner, they said that they're hoping that Feral would reach 50 issues. This could very well be the midpoint. It feels like the midpoint because at one point in time, I thought it felt like the end, based on where the characters are, but I have no idea what's in store. Issue 25, even though we're only on issue 24 this month, I'm anticipating answers. So those are going to be my stats, trends, and picks from May of 2026. I'm hoping that you all have enjoyed your May, and what are you looking forward to in June? Let me know if I missed anything. Please put your comments in the box below, and I will see you in the next one.